And now, the origins of basil! When I first started looking up the origins of basil, I thought, maybe there'd be a little bit of stuff, but probably just Latin root of this, blah, 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 and, it comes from here, who cares? Boy, was I wrong. Now, there are some really cool religious and mythological stories involving basil, but I'm going to talk about those in another video. Basically, it involves scorpions, basilisks, the cross of Christ, and so much more. Oh yeah. Now, basil's snazzy botanical name is Ocimum basilicum. Ocimum meaning smell, and basilicum coming from either the Latin basilius or Greek basilicon fouton, which means royal or kingly plant, which makes sense because it was often referred to as the king of herbs or the royal herb. Though it was also once known as the herb of poverty, but not because, it created poverty. This was because it was used as protection for the poor.
Taxes!
Now, in some places like the UK, it's actually called basil. But for me, basil is the herb and Basil is a dude. Like this guy. Basil I, Emperor of the Byzantine Empire. Basil is a member of the very, very large mint family.
What? Mint?
Yeah, mint. Now, the mint family, also called the Lamiaceae or Lamiaceae family, not to be confused with Leviosa.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Sorry, Hermione. Now, the mint family also includes various other herbs like rosemary, sage, marjoram, even lavender. With around 150 known varietals in existence, basil is called by a plethora of different names, including grape basil, Thai basil, tule basil, African blue, red Reuben, clove basil, spicy basil, lettuce basil, cinnamon basil, St. Joseph's wort, not to be confused with St. John's wort, mini purple basil, though the most common variety used in food today is called sweet basil. So here's where things get just a little bit muddled for our kingly little basil. Now, sources say that it probably goes back about 5,000 years to its origin, but we're not really sure where. It either starts in India or China, though it's generally believed somewhere around here. So, not too specific. There are, however, some records that say it may have originated in the Hunan region of China, though this isn't substantiated. We do know that the spice merchants helped bring it over to Egypt because the Egyptians loved using a little bit of basil in their embalming fluid. Yum. But this is because of its preserving qualities, which was also well known by the Greeks and the Romans. Now, the first recorded mention of basil in literature happens in 206 BC, where it states it exists only to drive men insane. I guess this makes sense for the Greeks who associated it with hatred. To grow basil, I kid you not, it was once believed that in order to sow the basil, you had to be swearing and ranting at the seeds while planting it. You miserable little seed, grow bigger, you The French term meaning to sow basil is semer le basilic, which has also been used to mean to rant and rave. Now, basil is thought to have been brought over to Greece by Alexander the Great. Then our friend the basil plant lays a little bit low until the Middle Ages, when we start getting some really crazy beliefs about basil. So, some people thought that it was good for cheering the spirit or clearing the brain, but other people still thought it was poisonous. It was used in exorcisms and also believed to identify chastity. If you placed it in the hand of a woman and it withered, that means, watch out, that woman is impure! The Middle Ages also give us some really kooky ways that you're supposed to prepare basil. One had to first purify the right hand by washing it 3 times in 3 different springs, using only an oak branch and wearing white linen clothes. Now, it's also in the Middle Ages that we find basil's most famous appearance in ancient artwork in Giovanni Boccaccio's The Decameron. This story was later retold by John Keats in his poem Isabella, or The Pot of Basil. Go figure. It tells the happy-go-lucky story of a... No, it's tragic. It's tragic. It's the Middle Ages. I mean, come on. Now, in this tragic tale, Elisabetta's lover, Lorenzo, is murdered by her brothers. When she finds out in a dream that he has been murdered, she finds him, removes his head, and places it in a pot that grows basil. And then, as you would expect, she waters it with her tears. Now, it's in the Renaissance that basil's properties are finally given some solid backing by Cosimo de' Medici when he included it amongst his fragrances in the Geodarmo de Simplici. No, not them, it's an Italian soft rock band. This guy. Basil finally makes its way over to the United Kingdom in the 16th century, after which it makes its way over to America via the Massachusetts Bay Colony, where it is introduced in 1621. Now, most herbalists of the day couldn't actually agree on the properties of basil. In 1653, British herbalist Nicholas Culpeper wrote that most herbalists were so split about its properties that it caused them to rail at one another like lawyers. Scary. Despite all the modern advances in studies that claimed basil was a good thing to be used for medicinal purposes and for nutritional purposes, in 1980's British Ministry of Agriculture's Bulletin on Herbs, it was stated to be of little or no importance. Thanks so much for watching. If you really like this video, make sure that you click on the like button and share it with your friends. Also, you can look in the description down below if you want to find out some more about the origins of basil. My question for today is, did I get anything wrong? If so, please say so in the comment section down below. I'd really like to hear it. For now, have a great day and be nice to your friends.